and welcome to the Power of Words and Images, the podcast where we explore how rhetoric, through words we read and images we consume, shapes our world and impacts our daily lives. I'm your host, David Martin, and with me today is my brilliant co host, Prakash. How are you doing, Prakash?
I'm doing great, David. Excited to dive into today's topic. Rhetoric is something we encounter every day, whether we realize it or not.
Absolutely. So today we're going to break down the basics of rhetoric, ethos, pathos, logos, and kairos, and explore how advances in technology have changed the way rhetoric works. We'll also touch on visual rhetoric and how the flood of visual media influences the messages we receive and the spread of misinformation.
Yes, and let's not forget to discuss how the relationship between the writer, the readers, the text, and the medium is a dynamic or constantly changing process. Also, rhetoric is not just an academic concept, it is something we all engage with daily, whether that be asking for money or convincing friends to go see a popular movie.
Okay, well, let's get started with the basics. Rhetoric is the art of persuasion. Aristotle broke it down into three main components: ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos refers to the credibility or character of the speaker. Pathos is about appealing to the audience's emotions, and logos relies on logical arguments and evidence. Often, writers and speakers will use a mix of these rhetorical tools in order to accomplish their goal.
Yes, another important rhetorical consideration is kairos, which means the timing and the context of the message. In short, it involves choosing the right moment to deliver a message so it resonates the most.
Exactly. For instance, think about how a politician might use ethos by highlighting their experience, pathos by sharing a heartfelt story, and logos by presenting data to support their policies, all while choosing the perfect moment to deliver their speech for maximum impact. Possibly it would help to consider a more personal example, though. Let's say you need money to pay for books because the cost of moving into the dorms was more than expected. You have a message you need to communicate to your parents who are already stressed about the insane cost of education these days. So you need to wait until the right moment to spring this new cost on them. That is kairos. You would then need to employ the other strategies and media tools as appropriate for whichever parent you have decided to ask.
Absolutely. Another important consideration is that with the rise of technology, especially social media, the landscape of rhetoric has changed dramatically. We are no longer just passive consumers of rhetoric, we are also creators. This also means that we need to become more sensitive to the cross cultural elements involved in communicating with a global audience.
Right on both accounts, platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok allow anyone to share their message with a global audience instantly. This democratization of rhetoric means that we have more voices than ever before, but it also means we're inundated with messages all the time. It's challenging for sure, but also empowering for those, such as yourselves, who have chosen to further your education. Eid points out that while it often feels like your personal interests and goals are not relevant to your academic goals and modes of communication, all your experiences with writing, reading, speaking, and listening matter and will help you become better communicators.
Yes, now with the basics out of the way, let's talk about visual rhetoric. Images and videos can be incredibly persuasive, often more so than words alone. Think about advertising, memes, or even political campaigns. A powerful image can evoke emotions and convey complex ideas quickly and effectively. In this class, we will look at some important images from this past year that involve intense emotions and beliefs that also communicate very specific messages to the audience. Of course, keeping in mind the cultural systems at play, it is easy to see how intense the discussions can get.
Absolutely. And with this power comes the risk of misinformation. The same tools that enable us to share authentic messages can also be used to spread falsehoods. Deepfakes, doctored photos, and misleading graphics are just some of the ways visual rhetoric can be manipulated. Sometimes the initial intent of the images gets lost in the political biases of those who share them on social media or even in the mainstream media.
Yes, that's why it is so important to develop media literacy skills. We need to be able to critically analyze the messages we encounter, understand the motives behind them, and verify their authenticity.
And let's discuss the dynamic relationship between the elements of rhetoric: the writer, the readers, the text, and the medium. They're all connected. This relationship isn't static, it's constantly evolving. The medium, especially, plays a crucial role in shaping how the message is crafted and received.
Absolutely. Take social media, for example. The brevity of tweets forces writers to be concise and impactful. On the other hand, long form blog posts allow for more detailed arguments and nuanced discussions. The medium influences the style and effectiveness of the rhetoric. These same constraints can lead to a ton of misunderstandings and misuse of information, as it is shared often in a slightly different form without the original context.
Exactly. And as we noted earlier, it's not just about academic theory or politicians using rhetoric to convince us of how to vote. Rhetoric is something we all use and encounter every day. Whether you're persuading your boss to approve a project, convincing your friends to watch a new show, or even just posting on social media, you're using rhetoric.
That's right. Understanding rhetoric helps us become more effective communicators and more discerning consumers of information. It is a skill that empowers us in both our personal and professional lives.
So the next time you read an article, watch a commercial, or scroll through social media, take a moment to consider the rhetorical strategies at play. Who is the speaker? What emotions are they trying to evoke? What evidence are they presenting? And why are they delivering this particular message now?
Yes, by asking these questions, we become more engaged and informed participants in the world around us. Rhetoric is not just for scholars, it is a practical tool we all use to navigate our daily lives.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on the power of words and images.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, keep questioning, keep analyzing, and keep communicating.
And we're out. Great discussion today, Prakash. I think we really covered some important ground.
Absolutely, David. It is always a pleasure.